I mean, look at that. The Nasdaq's up 2% in one day. S&P over 1%. Dow's not doing a whole lot, right? So this is just something to keep in mind. So the problem is, and I've talked about this at some point, maybe in the securities analysis or boot camp, I'm not sure, but the problem is you have to understand how these valuations are created. They're done with financial modeling, and they kind of continue to extrapolate growth rates into the foreseeable future, many years down the road. This is the problem, okay? And the problem with that is that NVIDIA is not going to maintain this trajectory forever. There's no way. It's just not going to. So my point is that, is this current valuation, is it reasonable? Is it a good, attractive valuation? 5 years down the road, where is it going to be? I don't know. But I'm just saying, you have to understand where this stock has come over the past 2 years. When you're talking about this soaring revenue and soaring earnings, right? That growth, you're talking about that. You saw the growth from the year over year. The EPS from the quarter last year, the same quarter last year, it's up 629%. So my point is that, you have to be careful. And, I hate to even say this type of stuff because some people are just going to get scared. I'm not telling you to scare you. I'm just telling you just to keep things in perspective, because you're going to get the stock split here in a couple of days, and you're going to get a lot of dumb money in NVIDIA. And there's been a lot more into it recently. It's going to be a lot more, which, I think, early on, it could drive prices really high. It can get a lot higher. I can tell you that. And the higher it goes, the more worried you should get. Okay. I'm not concerned right now, but I want to tell you this in advance. Okay. So that if and when a time comes, then you all already have heard this. You all already kind of know what I'm going to be talking about. Now, keep in mind, NVIDIA doesn't provide annual guidance. They only provide quarterly guidance. They only guide for the next quarter. Think about that for a second. Most companies give you annual guidance, don't they? They even update the annual guidance. NVIDIA doesn't do that. They provide guidance in the next quarter. That's a little scary. I mean, not right now, because things are really going great. But at some point down the road, you all know in the future, at some point, NVIDIA is going to come out and they're going to give you some pretty scary guidance. Now, that may not be for 5 years. But my point is that when you have a company that does that, like NVIDIA, that you don't have a whole lot of warning. So that's why you got to be careful. And I mentioned here, on a positive note, you've got all these drivers. You've got these fundamental drivers. NVIDIA, nobody can touch NVIDIA, okay? There's, as I mentioned before, there's nobody even close to their technology. They've got the best of everything. They've got the best engineers, and they are diversified in what they do. They have a lot of stuff. They don't just have the processors. They've got the in-house software to test it, the data centers. They've got a lot of stuff going on, no doubt about it. But keep in mind, one other thing is that at the end of the day, remember, NVIDIA is not Microsoft. It's not Apple. NVIDIA, their customers are commercial, mostly. Most of their customers are from businesses. It's a B2B company. So keep that in mind. Anybody know the relevance of that? Obviously, you could think of Apple. I mean, Microsoft is more diverse. They've got a lot of consumer base. They've had business base as well. Apple clearly is a lot consumer driven. And you say, well, during a recession, Apple is more susceptible, right, to a downturn in business. Well, yes and no. Increasingly, to some extent, because of kind of imagine if companies come out at some point, and folks, this can happen in a quick wave, in terms of like a domino effect, where it starts to become at some point, a company says, well, gosh, well, we spent all this money on AI and it's, gosh, our earnings are missing. We're focusing too much on all this AI and we gotta focus. The bottom line, at some point, companies are going to say, look, we're throwing too much money at this. It's not panning out as quickly as we envisioned. And they will pull back. I've talked about this before. I don't see it happening anytime real soon, but it will happen. Okay, just like we're seeing now with the EV market. Remember, Tesla was on top of the world. Nothing could stop Tesla. And look at it now. So this is how things work. Okay, I'm just kind of trying to give you guys a feel of how things work during a period when NVIDIA is on top of the world. And they're going higher. Okay, they're going higher. And I think that it's going to be sooner rather than later this year that they take out Microsoft as the world's most valuable company.
Their earnings report is a complete game changer, at least for quite a while. Bottom line, NVIDIA now is going to enter the realm of Tesla, Apple, and all these other big, I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works. I mean, listen, NVIDIA can come down to 150, come down to $100. If you don't think it's possible, then you don't understand how the market works.